Hello, good morning. Happy Monday. Let's talk about listening skills, okay? Because people always wonder and ask me, so how did you get 5 teenagers to feel comfortable about talking to you about things they need to talk about? My kids will come to me about sex, they will come to me about drugs, they will come to me about drinking, about, the way other people are in life, things like that. And how did I make that happen raising 5 teenagers? And 3 of them are my stepchildren. How did I build that trust? And a huge part of this is how well you listen. And that relates to you and your partner, relates to you and your children. How do you become a good listener? So that's what I wanted to talk about today, because if you can master listening, you got this. And a lot, because when we're not really listening, we tend to be distracted. So you're hearing a very small percentage of the conversation. Even when you're focused on listening, it's been proven that people take in only about 7% of what somebody's saying, which makes it even more important that you actually focus on your child and you listen and pay attention. Now, what is listening? Listening is, of course, hearing what somebody's saying. But if you are, sorry about that, if you are a good listener, you not just hear what they're saying, but you focus on them. You see facial expressions, nonverbal cues, and emotion. So you're not just listening with your ears, you're listening with your eyes and your heart. Remember that communication is 80% nonverbal cues, 20% the words you are saying. So if you are not even looking at the person who's talking to you, say you're busy, your kids are talking, you're scrolling through your phone or whatever, you're not even looking at them, you're missing 80% of what they're trying to say because you're not looking at their face. And this is super common for kids today. It's so common that we need to actually help our children understand how to listen and communicate without the written word, which means do it outside of texting, outside of email, outside of Facebook messengers, actually with you and someone else, eye to eye, like we are doing right now. Okay, so let's talk about how to be a good listener and how to make you approachable. Because if you're always on your phone, if you're always distracted and you're always, basically this thing's always in your hand, your kids are playing, you're sitting on the couch, you're looking at your phone. Your kids are doing something, you're sitting on you're sitting there watching them on your phone. They're in a sporting event and you're in the bleachers on your phone. You're always on your phone. Every time they look at you, you are on your phone. That tells your child, it sends the message that you are uninvolved, you are uninterested, and therefore you are not approachable. Okay? So first thing, listen with your eyes and your heart. You can't listen with your eyes if your eyes are looking somewhere else. Make sure that you are making eye-to-eye contact with them. You are not just hearing, which we can do whether we're in another room or not, but you are looking at them and you are feeling and recognizing the emotion that is coming along with the conversation. That emotion is something that you can relate to, and as the conversation develops, you can actually talk about it. Honey, I can see you are really concerned about this. I can see that you're a little afraid of this situation. I can see that that has made you very angry. That conversation and that recognizing their emotion is bringing their feelings to the front, not just their words. And if you're not looking at them, you're not really being a good listener. You are not recognizing how they're feeling through all of this. Number 2, do not interrupt them. Let your child say what they need to say without you interrupting, jumping to conclusions, or assuming something. You can't actually listen if you're too busy interrupting and making them feel like, well, they're just going to talk. I might as well not. Your child will shut down. Now, there is a listening game that's in the files section of our Tranquility Tribe group. Play it. I really encourage you to play it with your kids so that you practice being a good listener without interruption, without making noises like, okay, laughing, things like that. You really practice the art of listening. So don't interrupt. Don't prejudge the situation till you hear your child out. Don't assume. Okay? We all know what assumptions do. And usually, if you're not listening to everything your child has to say, your assumption will be incorrect. Let them explain their side of the story. As I said, don't interrupt before you add your opinion. Now, there will be a time for you to add your opinion. You hear what they have to say. If it is a conversation and you're communicating, they will be waiting to hear what you have to say, to hear your opinion on it, to offer your suggestions. They're coming to you for help, but give them a chance to explain. Same if, say, you get a call from school and the principal's like, this happened, blah, 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 blah. Don't take that person's word for it automatically. Give your child a chance to explain. You know your child. And by knowing your child, you are the one that really knows their history and knows them best. And if something sounds like it does not sound like something your child would do, it probably wasn't, and you're probably getting half a story. So talk to your child first before making any assumptions or presumptions. Do this when you're talking with your child without lecturing. No one wants to be lectured to. And when you start lecturing, your child will just shut down. They will not even listen. They will turn you off. They will go do whatever distracts them from listening to you. Go on and on and on. If you have something to tell them, tell it once. Make sure they understand and leave it at that. Do not keep bringing it up, rehashing it, and lecturing about it over and over and over again. It is a sure way for your child to not stay connected to you. They don't want to hear it. Nobody wants to hear it. Be sure to do that. When you're offering conversation, do it calmly, without yelling, without the anger. Because yelling and anger makes a child feel judged and criticized. And when they're judged and criticized, if you reflect back to your childhood, you will realize that when you were judged and criticized, you just shut down. And are you going to go to your parent about something if you know they're going to automatically judge you or make an assumption? They're not going to hear you out? The other thing you can do with kids is you can offer similar situations that you went through, either as a child or maybe something you're going through right now that is similar. Making mistakes, we all do it. It all happens all of our lives. So if recently you did something that you made a mistake on, share it with your child. Tell them how you got through it so that it doesn't seem like the end of the world. Be authentic, share similar life situations so that they can see that, you know what, you're not God. In fact, you're human and you've been through similar things to what they've been through. Great for teenagers because teenagers always think they're the only ones going through what they're going through, and everyone's going through that stuff. Teenagerhood is not easy. So relate to them and share your experiences with them. Remember too that as this all develops, ask questions. If you're asking questions, you are controlling the situation, the conversation, and you are getting as much information out as possible. So, like, say your child is asking you about something, is talking to you about something that happened in school with another child. Say, so what happened with this child before this incident began? What were you doing? What was the child doing? Is this someone that you're friendly with? Is this someone that you have a lot of interaction with? What are they normally like? Do you think maybe they were having a bad day? Keep asking children questions, your child questions, and you will get deeper and deeper down to what's really going on. Okay. Make sure that where you're talking is a peaceful place, a private place. If this is a private conversation, don't hold it around everyone else in the family. Keep it private. Give your child the ability to share something private that is just with you and not the whole world. Don't do things in front of their friends. If there's something you need to talk about, you don't talk about and embarrass them in front of other people. Okay? When you are doing when you are having a conversation, if it's something important that you guys need to talk about, if you are initiating the conversation, compliment your child first. Give them a compliment. What does a compliment do to start a conversation? Is it keeps someone off of the defensive. It keeps them from feeling like they're going to get in trouble. Like, if you say, okay, we need to talk, your child immediately thinks, I'm in trouble. But when you sit down and you talk and you start offering a compliment for something, all of a sudden they're like, oh, thanks, mom. Thanks, dad. And then they're a little more relaxed when you bring up the topic that may be a little harder to talk about with your child. So compliment them. Start with a compliment. And while you're at it, end with a compliment. If you feel anxious about the conversation, then you need to take time to cool off. You need to take a few minutes, 5 minutes, and then think about what you're going to talk about, how you're going to talk about it, and approach the conversation. If it's a difficult conversation, then you know what? If you have a partner or a family member, you could practice and kind of, act like you're having a conversation with your child with that person. So you kind of go through it and it relaxes you a little bit. Watch your words. Watch your words. Don't cuss, don't accuse, don't call names. That is going to be a sure thing to guarantee your child will never come to you for help. They will go to someone else, even Google, because they don't get talked back to. Remember that in a conversation with a child, there is no place for judgment, criticism, or ridicule. Conversation that is open, that is making you listen to what they're feeling, that is helping you to relate and communicate. There's no place for judgment and criticism. That's a sure way of making sure that they will never approach you again. Give them your unconditional love. Do not base your love on what they're doing, their behavior, or the way they're acting. They are still children. Even if they're 15, they're still a child. The brain develops in 25 years. They're still working on it. They're still a work in progress. For that, all of us are still works in progress. Give them grace. Give them understanding. Give them consideration. Give them compassion. Give them love. So take advantage of, places that are good to talk to kids. When you just have you and your child in a car, you have a captive audience. Maybe you go on a walk together and you talk. Maybe you sit down, they come home from school and you sit down and you talk to them and you share your experiences of the day, and then you dive into something. Choose locations wisely because it will help create more communication. And if it's not noisy and chaotic, guess what? You can listen better. So be the one that listens, truly listens to your child, understands, feels their emotions, and connects. If you can make that connection now, you can make it tomorrow, you can make it all the years of their lives. They will trust you. They will know that you have unconditional love for them. They will know that they believe you over other people, that you believe, let me switch that around, that you believe them over other people. And your communication with your child will last a lifetime. If you have any questions about this, please reach out. If you need help, please reach out. Listening really is the gateway to trust. So be a good listener. Grab the listening game, play it with your kids, start practicing listening techniques, ending the interruptions, ending the judgment, the criticism, and the ridicule, and get to the bottom of what's going on so that you can truly and honestly and trustfully help your child with what they need help with. You're their role model. What you role model in conversation is what they will learn as they move forward. Okay, guys, great to see you on this Monday. Share this out to anyone else that may need help. I appreciate you being in this Tranquility Tribe. And if you're hearing this and you're not in the Tranquility Tribe and you want to be, you want to resolve what's going on in your family, go to mytranquilitytribe.com. Stop the yelling, start the connection, start communicating, build respect, trust, and of course, love and happiness. Have an awesome day. As always, I wish you days filled with peace, love, tons of laughter. Really is the best medicine. There'll be a lot more of that when you're able to connect to your child honestly and truthfully. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye, everyone.